Save the elephants, save the world.
Save the jaguar, save the world.
Save the tigers, save the world.
Where we going? We gonna go save the chimpanzees.
Save the tiger, save the world.
Hello guys, we wanted to talk to you today a little bit about tiger cubs. Tiger cubs are just magical creatures. They're one of the coolest, most unique guys that just start out so small and then grow so fast. There's just nothing like them.
I love that they talk to you with different voices, meaning different things. I love that they become these gigantic beasts, but they start out such little itty bitty creatures, and they become your friends. They want to hang out with you, and they like to have belly rubs. They like to have long, slow pets, and they'll suck on your fingers. I think that's hilarious.
Tigers can grow from half a pound to a pound a day. A 1-year-old male tiger can actually weigh up to 300 pounds. They have to grow up fast because they're predators. They need to be able to protect themselves, and they're going to get kicked out of the house.
Tigers have this really cool system on the back of their heads. All tigers have them. They're called eye spots. And those eye spots are something that allow the tigers to look at each other when they're walking. They're kind of our flags from mothers and babies, but they also work as a defensive mode. They sit there looking back at anything that's behind them, appearing to potentially be a little set of eyes. Any other predators that might come up are much less likely to attack them because they think the element of surprise has been taken away.
I think the most unique thing about them is that they all have a different stripe pattern. So even though there's 3 white tigers in here, I can look at them and tell them apart exactly. Like this is a little girl named Sukino, that's Kumar over there, and this is Kriya.
Some tigers even have spots in between their stripes, which is also a very cool way to tell them apart. You can look at the base of their tail, and the back of their head is where you see the most difference in their stripe patterns.
Now, a lot of us look at tigers walking away, and we want to be able to tell which tiger's which. The same thing, of course, exists on the front of their face. Their face is really the fingerprint that shows that every tiger is different.
Tigers have incredibly soft feet. They don't really harden up like that dog does. They stay very soft from the moment they're born until they're big, full-grown guys. It helps them be very sensitive, so when they're feeling the ground, they can kind of notice every little subtle branch or crack or something that they might step on and make noise to alert whatever it is that they're sneaking up on. When tigers approach something, they actually play the piano. They go down toe by toe and feel all the ground underneath them before they press their weight forward, and they make sure that they're not going to disturb anything to not make a sound.
As we were saying, tigers are just incredible growing machines. A tiger starts out life tiny, like the size of a stick of butter with legs. Tiny little cubs are incredible for their moms to have super athletic abilities. Their moms have to go out just the day before giving birth and potentially try to kill a buffalo. They've got to be able to go after that buffalo, make a kill on something that's 3 or 4 times their size, and they've got to be able to be in top physical condition. Tiny little cubs, 3 or 4 of them, that don't weigh even half a pound, make it that the mom is still in great physical condition. A very pregnant tigress is still a compact athlete with incredible lethal potential.
Tigers come in many different color variations. We have 2 color variations here. But the reason for these color variations is they started out in Siberia and they migrated all the way down to the island in Bali. So all of these color variations actually fit into different environments. A red tiger lived in a red clay or ambergrass environment. The standard tiger that used to sing just lived in the jungles. They even found white tigers in the jungles. And of course, a white tiger would be perfect in the snow-covered Himalayan mountains.
Now, all tigers are born with blue eyes, but the white tigers, as they grow up, are the only ones that keep them. Standard tigers, as they get older, their eyes will turn a more brown color, and then the golden tabby tigers will turn a more amber color.
Tigers have a lot to say. Now, tigers have several different ways that they talk to us. They've got the capacity to speak in all kinds of little whines and pops. Mostly that's something they do when they're young. Tigers have the fabulous chuff. It's the air burst that comes out of their nose. Even tiny cubs start that chuffing. That little bit of chuffing makes it incredible for them to be able to tell you. It's kind of a hello, it's kind of I think everything's okay, it's a question, do you think everything's okay? And because they keep that their whole life, tigers are remarkable in that they communicate to you all the time. It really helps in how we have a relationship with a lot of these guys because of that capacity to talk.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to show you our version of a chuff. That noise is the puffing air that comes out of the tiger's nose and gives us that greeting as to what's happening. Now, these guys love a baby bottle. You know, they stay with their moms for about a month or so, but after that month, it's really precarious for them to have to be with their moms around the clock. Cubs will get a 50% mortality rate if you just leave them with their moms. Even keeping them in that first 30 days can be really difficult because the moms pick the very strongest ones. The moms do not take care of them with equality at all. They're looking for the right cub to be the strong one and to carry on the family name. Every tiger does not get that privilege.
A tiger's bite is about 750 pounds of pressure. That's the same amount of pressure as a Rottweiler's bite. So not that much for an enormous animal like a tiger. But once a tiger bites down, he can actually produce 30,000 pounds of torque with those massive head, neck, and shoulder muscles. That's like a pickup truck.
Now, most people think that tigers are solitary creatures, but they're actually quite social. You can see they like to hang out with us and they like to hang out with each other. If you raise them in big groups, they'll stay in big groups their entire lives.
There's tigers that have been found in Nepal in the Chitwan National Park. There in the Chitwan National Park, they were able to find 16 tigers that shared a single kill of a buffalo. Now, for 16 tigers to all be on that same buffalo means that they had some very close relationship, and they obviously know who they are. They can DNA test the pug marks around the area and determine that it's 16 different animals. That taking place really changes people's perceptions in the solitary tiger hanging out alone. The tigers in that capacity are out there making a kill, having their fill, because a buffalo's far more than any family of tigers would eat, and then the extended family is coming in and sharing in that same process. That's amazingly remarkable and totally different than modern tiger lore. Once there were hundreds of thousands of tigers across the world. Tiger populations have plummeted so far that there's just a few thousand left. So much of our perception of how tigers live and what they're like is from an incredibly suppressed life where the tigers don't show off, don't live in all the environments they once did. So really our study of tigers has been very simplified by only seeing them in the few last remaining places. I believe the original tiger families, the original tigers roaming across vast different territories, lived more like lions, had a more gregarious, interactive lifestyle, and that's why the cubs are so social, and why as they mature, if they're given the opportunity to stay together, the cubs will sleep side by side, they'll stay with each other, they cry for each other and look for each other's comfort. Even as they mature, we have tigers that are cradle to grave, living in each other's arms side by side. Big male tigers, a dozen at a time, that here, like nowhere else in the world, are able to sleep paw to paw, never scratching, biting, or hurting each other, getting along just magically.
As the tigers are born, they go through critical care and they live with their mothers. A lot of times moms have between 1 and 6 in a litter, and average is 2, and one gets bigger than the rest and won't let the rest drink. As soon as that happens, we take them into our homes and we take care of them. But as soon as we start giving them milk, we give them the nipples with the tiniest holes in them so that the little guys don't get air, they don't get too much formula too fast and aspirate. So we're always trying to be careful about that. As they get older, we do expand the nipples so that the holes get bigger, so that they can get a little bit more flow in their drinking. We also give them feline diet or meat in the bottles, and you have to be able to make the holes big enough that they can get their meat in there as well.
Great nipples are a hoarded process here at the Myrtle Beach Safari. You find this right nipple that really seems to help tigers, and it allows them to start on a bottle better. The girls that are taking care of the cubs are really concerned that that nipple stays with them. They follow the nipple with the tiger. The tiger has to go anywhere or do anything, the nipple follows with it. If somehow a cub is going to go to another accredited facility and we're going to send a baby somewhere else, that baby travels with a nipple. It's got to have its exact right one. It's a strange hoarded process that only happens in some place really tight.
You saw the tigers being energetic and walking around, but they really wanted their bottles, and as soon as they have them, they go into what we call a food coma, where they like to just sit around, laze around, and take a nap. Kind of like me after I've had lunch.
Well, baby tigers are remarkable characters, as we were saying. They start out so small, they grow rapidly, they're incredibly communicative. They talk to us all the time. You can hear so much in how they speak as to how they feel about things. You get that opportunity to know them as individuals. You get a drastic difference in males and females about how their personalities grow. And then the relationships that we have with them start out from the time they're tiny. This bond that they have with us creates for us the ability to later on have these dozens of tigers that we make free contact with from cradle to grave. The proprietary techniques that we've developed here at the Myrtle Beach Safari create an extraordinary bond that allows us to have this relationship different than everyone else in the world's ever been able to. We've also had the incredible capacity to be able to have litters of tigers born, 1 or 2 litters every year, and from that, over the last 37 years, we've been able to learn so much.
So we get a lot of questions about the tiger's claws. The tiger's claw is actually inside a sheath. My favorite quote about a tiger's claw is it's a hybrid between a meat hook and stiletto. That's descriptive. So basically what happens is, even if it's coming up and it's slapping you, it's not going to bring the claw out. Only when it reaches in to grab a hold of something to bite it, does it let it out of that sheath. Because that is how they're going to make a kill. They need to keep that protected. So that's why you can see them batting with us, playing with our faces and doing all that stuff, and we walk away with no marks.
People often ask us why their paws look so different, because the ones in the front are big and the ones in the back are little. And that's because they actually have a thumb toe on their front paw. So they have 5 in the front and only 4 in the back.
Now those claws become gigantic hooks, as large as my fingers are, but they're so careful with them. Tigers can learn to never extend their claws except when they need to hold tightly onto something. Trainers getting scratched is very rare. The big cats are so aware of it. They play with each other. They live together. They're not trying to scratch and open each other up. They're trying to have relationships. They'll wrestle, they'll pull, they'll go back and forth. But you'll see tigers that wrestle for hours. Neither tiger ever bleeds. It's not their goal to try and cut each other open. They do it if they panic. They do it if they're trying to hang on tight. But if you have a casual tiger believing that its life is one of equanimity and that things are all good, the cubs have the capacity to keep their claws in so well. A 1-month-old tiger scratches more than a 2-month-old tiger. A 6-month-old tiger scratches more than a 6-year-old tiger. It's something they progress through and become incredibly careful with. You know, these cubs, they engage with us in a wide variety of ways. You know, we do this gentle playing with them. We get the timing of how they can climb off and on us, how we're able to have that relationship with them, and it progresses. The larger they become, the more wary we are of just their weight and their mass coming against you. That amazing growing process where a tiger is really gaining almost a pound a day in that first year. 1-year-old male could weigh over 300 pounds. So as he's exploding in growth, we're trying to keep up with a behavior pattern that allows him to feel that he's still your friend, he's good and gentle with you, but still able to move and act like a tiger. You've got to have a very careful balance between that loving petting relationship and the climbing on and off of you relationship, because tigers are going to roughhouse. It's their nature. So we're watching out for that and teaching them the manners that go along with it. The same thing that would happen with their parents. Their mother would be very tolerant, but she would only let it go so far. The siblings will be tolerant with each other, but if they get hurt, they take it a notch up and say, hey, you've gone too far. They are always looking to find that balance. They're curious, they have large brains, they're very smart, and tigers get an incredible understanding of what's accepted and what's not in a relationship.
A tiger's tongue is incredibly rough. Think of a cat times 1,000. When they give you a kiss with that tongue, you have to keep moving the part that they're kissing, otherwise you'll end up with carpet burn after the third kiss.
I'm Dr. Kodyantle, Director of the Myrtle Beach Safari and the Rare Species Fund. For 37 years, I've made it my mission to understand big cats and other animals and develop a relationship with them that I can share with you that gives us the opportunity to engage with them in incredible experiences that are a premium interaction that allow you to get up close with these incredible animals uncaged in a way that connects you to the wildlife and the dangers that they're facing worldwide.
I'm China York. I'm one of the operations partners here at Tigers. I've been here for over 20 years working with exotic big cats and monkeys, and I'm just doing all the critical care and raising of the babies.
Hello, I'm Moksha Baidi, one of the operations partners here at the Myrtle Beach Safari. I've been raising cubs and monkeys for nearly 20 years now.
My name is Kodyantle. I was born here at the Myrtle Beach Safari. I was raised with over 100 tigers. Had these little guys climbing around on my crib with me before I could walk. My biggest sister is Bubbles the elephant, and my son is Sugriva the chimpanzee. We're here every day kind of hanging out, trying to win over hearts and minds and teach people about these beautiful creatures.
Save the tiger, save the world!
In order for the tiger to survive, it needs clean, clear skies, pristine lakes and rivers, wide open spaces, plentiful prey animals, and most importantly, the tiger needs you, people who care. Therefore, if we save the tiger, we can save the world.